Hello and welcome to another edition of Eye on Port, the program that brings Ghana's shipping and maritime industry closer to you. This program is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, GOIL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link, and the Meridian Port Services MPS. This program is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, and our media partner is the Business and Financial Times. Viewers, the past week was a very eventful one in our industry. We begin with the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, who joined the rest of the world to mark the International Customs Day celebration for the year 2023. This is what our discussion will mainly center on. But before we bring you the panel discussion, let us catch a glimpse of what happened there. The Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority earlier this week joined the rest of the world to mark the International Customs Day 2023 with a dedication to nurturing the next generation and promoting a culture of knowledge sharing and professional pride in customs. The ceremony was also used to take stock of the authority's strides over the past year and strategize for the future. Speaking on behalf of the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, his deputy, Dr. John Kumar, revealed that customs revenue grew by a nominal growth rate of 38.4% with a collection of 22.2 billion as against the target of 20.2 billion. The Deputy Finance Minister urged customs to be more resolute and work harder towards helping the GRA meet its revenue target of 105 billion cedis.
The current GDP is estimated to be about 800 billion for 2023. This supposes that we should be targeting, if you are looking at 20% of 8 to 800 billion, we should be targeting 160 billion as our revenue collection annually for Ghana. But the 2023 revenue target for the authority, however, is 105 billion, 998.73 billion. And that's about 54 billion lower than what we are supposed to be targeting. I wish to urge you all to work even harder in this year.
The Commissioner of Customs, Seydou Idrisu Idisa, said in 2023, the World Customs Organization is keen on human capital development and skills transfer and development of the younger generation.
Given the impending need for us to leverage on technology and creativity, which the young ones are versatile with, I recommend that we support them with the requisite skills and training that will guide them to work professionally and impact on others.
Chairman at the event, former Commissioner Wallace Akondo, urged current customs officers to harness the capacities of predecessors towards revenue mobilization and trade facilitation objectives.
Here we are, this country badly needs every single foreign exchange generated. Why wouldn't you use your capacity in collaboration with the Bank of Ghana and the banks to fight the canker of capital flight, so that the much needed foreign exchange that we need in this country remains in this country?
Stakeholders of customs present expressed continued support for the transformational agenda of customs, which includes strengthening collaboration and knowledge sharing. At the ceremony, outstanding customs officers who have performed exceptionally across the various customs centers in the country were celebrated with awards. All right, now coming on the heels of that particular event we just witnessed, we at Eye on Port decided to explore how to promote professionalism in Ghana's customs administration. To help us delve into this particular subject, we interacted with a principal revenue officer at the Customs Laboratory, Samuel Akrofi, as well as a former president of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, Joseph Agbaga. Take a listen.
What was the theme for this year's International Day celebrations, and how relevant is that in helping you as Customs GRA to realize objectives in Ghana?
Thank you very much for the question. The theme for the 2023 International Customs Day is nurturing the next generation, promoting a culture of knowledge sharing and professional pride in customs. it is instructive to the extent that professionalism is one of the core values of customs, by extension, the Ghana Revenue Authority. And this theme actually places human capital and narrows down to the next generation or the young customs officers in terms of building their capability to meeting the challenges of the present and the future.
Right.
Now, there's an issue with that because you see two bands of customs officers usually in every customs administration.
Right.
There's the first band who are very old and experienced customs officers who have built a lot of competence and expertise over the years. And they have certain inbuilt skills, certain developed skills that you can only get during the course of time through the years of your work.
Yes.
And that is called what we call the tacit knowledge.
Okay.
There is also this band of young customs officers who are IT savvy, who are very energetic, who are very ambitious. They are careful about sustainability and about the environment and the like. But they require that kind of tacit knowledge so that we don't go around in circles repeating mistakes that have already been made, yes. So what this theme actually does is to place the focus on the young customs officers. And in our administration, it calls for a systematic means of transferring knowledge from the older generation or the experienced generation to the younger generation, while creating the avenue for intergenerational discussions and interaction to be able to also harness the total collective might that these two groups may have. So to that extent, it helps us directly meet our objectives as a customs administration. Thank you.
And I just want to find out from you some of the things that you think they require, the customs division requires, in order to be able to kind of like inject some element of modernization, modification, transformation, to help them effectively and efficiently play their role in our frontiers, national frontiers, to ensure that things are smooth and that we are also safe in terms of even travels.
Yeah, thank you. I think customs itself is a unique entity that creates their own tools for work. And the World Customs Organization has been assisting all customs administration across the world to develop such tools. And one of the tools is the Safe Framework of Standards,
Right.
which I believe Ghana Customs as well has taken cue from and are picking up what it said for them to be abreast with today's complexity of international trade.
Right.
But how equipped they are in order to take advantage of the tools that have been formulated through the Safe Framework of Standards is another, which means that policyholders must make sure that they make available good or sufficient funds in order to take care of their capacity building. Just like he said, some officers have gone through and are still with them.
Yes.
They have gone through when this Safe Framework of Standards were not there.
Right.
They've made their mistakes. They had their experiences that they can use to guide the young ones that are coming.
Yeah.
So for now, my opinion is to find a way and a platform that we can bring all these two bands of officials together in order to share this knowledge among themselves for the older one to impact this knowledge for them. So for me, from where I sit, I think that should be the way forward, but the policy makers to give them the required funding,
Right.
that they can be able to brace the storm.
Right. I know in Ghana, the main training institution for customs officers is in Kwetwe. Yes, and I just want to find out from you, beside that, what other special training does the World Customs Organization require of, customs administrations in terms of training, for officers?
Okay, thank you very much. So the World Customs Organization usually would suggest a number of training programs for customs officers. Again, it's tailored towards the unique situations of the various customs administrations. For Ghana and its neighbors, the threat of terrorism, you would agree with me, appears to be inching closer to us. And so there's more, there's a trigger for an edge for us to move towards giving ourselves a certain posture to prevent the occurrence of these things. Before they happen, they will usually move materials across international borders. So there will be precursor materials that will be moved. And so I mentioned the program Global Shield. There are also going to be WMDs, weapons of mass destruction, chemicals, biological agents, radiological and nuclear materials. And just like what happened in Heathrow, 29 December last year, where they found nuclear material at an airport, we should also have the capability to be able to make some of these detections. And they point towards certain trends so that we can also even be able to use the information that is coming in, the quality of goods, the nature of goods, we can be able to analyze them. So the WCO recommends that or expects that customs administration be able to make use of big data, neural networks, artificial intelligence, and a lot of data that is around to be able to interpret it properly within the specific context of our situation, be it for revenue purposes or for security purposes or for promotion of international trade. So we should be able to better analyze it and contribute our quota to the international customs community as a very responsible customs administration that we are.
I know you have been in this business for a very long time, and you are widely read in terms of WCO, WTO and all that, and most of the conventions. You mentioned some of them and all that. I just want to find out from you what your assessment personally of our performance as a country is in terms of customs administration.
We've gone far, but what I am looking forward to is to take the new instruments, the conventions that we have signed as a country, that we agreed to participate in a certain manner, or we want to be among the trading nation to do things in a particular manner, that we should continue to take those conventions strongly and then work according to it.
All right, those were the takes of our guests on how to promote professionalism in Ghana's customs administration. Now on to your comments on the subject we have just discussed after we go on break, and we'll be back with more news. This comes from Solomon Adai of Modern World Logistics. He says, I want to know from the customs officer when they are going to regulate or ban individual importers who engage in door-to-door shipping service in Ghana without a license to avoid illegally imported goods like guns, drugs, and undisclosed goods which endanger our safety and security.
I think I have to assure Solomon that irrespective of who brings it in, whether door to door or whatever means, if you bring in weapons and you conceal it, we have the capability, we have the technology to intercept it, and we do the interceptions.
This comes from Mary. Why is it that customs do not destroy items that we don't need at the harbor before they even come into the market?
We also found something very interesting, that certain organizations had registered as waste disposal companies outside, and it's more expensive to destroy some of the goods outside. So they may come in whatever form, but at the point of arrival in the country, you realize that they might have expired or they are nearing expiry. If we go ahead and just destroy some of these things, what happens is that there's a procedure for destruction. So it is inspected, it is marked for destruction, and it is actually destroyed at various rubbish dumps in the presence of customs, the police. If it's a food item, the Food and Drugs Authority will be there. Each and every institution would usually give a certificate of destruction. Now we realize that some of these organizations pick these destruction certificates, go back to countries of origin and say that, look, I did this destruction in the country. And then it has the approval of the various regulatory agencies in the country. This is the certificate to attest to that. And if you are not careful, we will also become the dumping ground for materials that are not of good quality. So what we do is that we do some basic investigation. If we find out that at the time you were leaving, it was leaving the point of exit or the originating country, it was expired or it was nearing the expiry, we will make you export it back to the country of origin at your own cost. So yes, we do distraction, and sometimes we punish recalcitrant importers by making them export these things to the country of origin at their own expense.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance. Oh, Ajima, tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Welcome back from the break. Now, over the course of the week, ministers of state and special technical experts gathered in Ghana for the 17th extraordinary session of the General Assembly for the Maritime Organization for West and Central Africa. Let us look at what transpired there. The 17th extraordinary session of the General Assembly of the Maritime Organization of West and Central Africa, MOWCA, has been held in Accra, Ghana, to enable the organization perform more effectively in steering the affairs of the region's maritime industry. The three-day meeting, which brought together ministers of member states and high-level technical experts and advisors, was essentially used to give consideration and adopt a MOWCA-IMO joint action plan that seeks to contribute to strengthening of the maritime economy in the region. Secretary General of MOWCA, Dr. Paul Adaliku, underscored some of the strides undertaken since he took over the reins of leadership, which have caused the rebirth of the previously dormant institution.
Within the last 1 year, the organization has witnessed radical changes and innovations which have introduced since assuming the reins of this organization. I have embarked on untiring trips to member countries to rekindle their interest and confidence in the organization, and also appraise the peculiar challenges each of them have faced in every country I have visited.
Chairman of MOWCA and Ghana's Minister for Transport, Kweku Foresiama, called on member states to fulfill their obligations to the organization and approach development of the sector in a concerted manner.
No single member state can make significant strides on its own. Areas such as maritime security, maritime safety and navigation, port and infrastructure development, environmental protection, fisheries, amongst others, can only become effective when approached with a coordinated and integrated effort. It is in line with our best, Madam. I have convened this extraordinary session, being the second in the spirit of 13 months, to ensure that the organization is steered towards its objective in accordance with best management practices and principles.
Special guest of honor and Ghana's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Shirley Ayoko-Botwe, urged the organization to take practical discussions towards green shipping initiatives in accordance with global trends.
The organization must begin frank discussions on current developments in green shipping initiatives, which involve the use of alternative fuels with low or zero carbon in place of fossil fuels, as this is fast becoming the new way of shipping, and Africa cannot afford to be left behind as the world makes this move.
It's now time to take our lenses to the global stage and pick a few international shipping and maritime related news. Container shipping giants Mediterranean Shipping Company and Maersk AS, an entity under AP Moller Maersk, have agreed to terminate the 2M alliance effective in January 2025. 2M is a container shipping line vessel sharing agreement signed by the duo in 2015 with the aim of ensuring competitive and cost-efficient operations on the Asia-Europe transatlantic and trans-Pacific trades by sharing vessel space and network capacity. The 2M agreement has a minimum term of 10 years with a 2-year notice period of termination. The duo said that the announcement has no immediate impact on the services provided on the 2M trades. The company added that 2M was introduced in 2015 at a time when the ocean carrier industry needed an injection of stability. The 2M Alliance operates over 200 ships and serves more than 200 ports in around 120 countries. According to the Alliance, the 2M partnerships serves around 40% of the world's container trade. Singapore-based Pacific International Lines, PIL, has partnered with Lloyd's Register's fleet optimization experts, I4 Insight, to help it reduce emissions and maximize fleet performance with a 4-year fleet-wide agreement. PIL recently opened a Center for Maritime Efficiency, which is powered by the I4 platform and uses shoreside routing services as the technological backbone for achieving its decarbonization goals. LR Digital Solutions Division CEO Martin Taylor stated that the CME was established to better manage their fleet, evaluate vessel performance, and ensure PIL is making the best decisions to maximize revenue potential. PIL is ranked 12th among the world's top container shipping lines and has 55 years of shipping experience. It's now time for our Word of the Day segment, where we introduce words, phrases, jargons, terminologies that we often use on this platform so you can get familiar with them. Today's Word of the Day is beam. A beam is the width of a ship. It's now time for the schedule of vessels that have berthed in the ports of Tema and Takoradi and at the anchorages of both ports, as well as those expected in the coming weeks, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rate you may need to know to clear your cargo with. This is where we close today's edition of Iron Port. We hope you've been informed and educated. Remember, all Iron Port content can be found on our YouTube channel, Iron Port. Subscribe, like, and give us feedback.